Hello YouTube, it's Ty376 and welcome back to yet another edition of Stories from the Friend Zone. The segment where we go to the Friend Zone subreddit. Why? I don't know. You don't even really need to go to the Friend Zone subreddit to look at all the friend zoning that's happening. You can just go to actual Reddit, and the first post on the front page will be, "Girls who make the first move, what advice could you give to those who don't so that it isn't so intimidating?" Translated, girls out there, how do we get it so more of you ask us guys out so we don't have to do jack shit? So, since the post is geared towards women, obviously a bunch of women are going to reply, right? Just put yourself in his shoes. He's always expected to make the first move, generally, and is constantly scared of rejection and ridicule. Now magnify that by the number of times he has had to make the first move, at school dances, going out to a movie in high school, at prom, graduation, nightclubs, in a social setting with friends, etc., etc., etc. How do you think he's going to react when you make the first move? Relief. Just do it. All of us males thank you in advance. Yep. Ladies, thank you for asking me out, because I'm too much of a pussy to be asking you out. Isn't that why you want to date me? I'm a dude, but the argument isn't hard to make. Making the first move is something basically all guys have to do. It is intimidating, but we all manage. You just have to do what millions have already done, but your chances of rejection are significantly lower than what men face. Men aren't used to the luxury of the option of accepting or denying potential mates who throw themselves at our feet. We're not viewed as valuable or precious or desired. If a ship goes down, the women and children are worth saving. If a city is conquered, the women are taken, but the men are killed. I know this isn't good by any means, but the point is, we are never prized or valued. Men are not complimented ever. As a result of this, the determining factors in male beauty are a mystery. Muscles, I suppose? This is bad. This is just bad. I seriously don't know. I heard the male butt is found attractive once and it blew my mind. Seriously, anything on this topic would be incredibly enlightening. Men are supposed to win over the women, and we don't even know what they're looking at or for. Shallow answers are fine, just give us something. There's this standard of ladies being proper and a stigma around such a thing, but just say the word and I would be happy to do some squats. I know women feel they can be over-sexualized and held to impossible standards of beauty, but imagine growing up never even considered as a potentially attractive being simply because of your genitals. We're stereotyped as aggressive and brutish. Creepy is a common one. We can be criminals and beasts, but never beautiful. Rather than a judgmental audience, you would meet a grateful one. Come over, say hi. If you offer to buy me a drink, I would buy you a ring. Fucking wow. Fucking wow. This guy claims that literally no men have ever found to be attractive or beautiful simply because they have balls and a penis. This guy's a fucking idiot. In fact, he's so much of an idiot that if you went over to him and bought him a drink, he would buy you a ring. It doesn't matter what your background is, how many people you've killed, how many drugs you've smoked, how many animals that you've slaughtered, what kind of fucked up viewpoints that you might have. You go ahead and buy this guy a drink. He's going to marry you. This is the situation that guys are growing up in. Not the situation that because we have balls, therefore people don't find us attractive or we can never be held to any kind of beauty standard. Look at all kinds of, men's health magazines, fitness advertisements, the level of standards that athletes are being held to be able to perform at their jobs. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the situation where guys are so incredibly pussified that they believe any of this shit. Yeah, no, he's not going to do squats on his own. But if you come up to him and tell him to do squats, if you're a girl, then he'll do it. Alright, that's not what I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to help the kids. That entire discussion is lost. I'm trying to help the people that are actually, able to be saved. It's not very fair to say. Yes, woe is me that, if a city is conquered, I will be killed and my sisters will only merely be taken and raped. Going on date on Saturday in Venice, California. Help? Okay, so she friendzoned me for years and I finally got my shot. Hopefully. I'm taking her to Venice Beach, California on Saturday, and admittedly, I'm kind of panicking. I don't exactly know what to do on this date, 'cause I never thought I'd get to this point. I've been on dates before, but not with someone I already know so well. Do I kiss her at the end of the date, or is that pushing it? Anything else I should do or avoid? Well, yeah, go ahead and kiss her at the end of the date. If it's a date, if she knows it's a date, then yeah, it would be appropriate to kiss her at the end of it. What do you mean that you finally got your shot? How did that come about? Was it like, oh yeah, does she know that it's a date? Did you finally ask her to go? Or is it one of those things where, you always have lunch and watch a movie together, so that's what you're doing again, but it's going to be different because it's going to be at Venice Beach, California. I mean, I have no idea. Anything else that you should do or avoid? I mean, I think general advice for this kind of thing is like, have a plan. If you're going to go on a date, just have a plan. Know what you're going to do. Know where you're going to go. Know what movie you're going to see. And maybe have a little backup plan too. If something doesn't work, then okay, we're going to go to this place, whatever. Don't be left there looking at her like, so what do you want to do now? Don't do that. If it's going to be a date, then you got to plan it out. You got to make it happen. To swallow your pride. I just made the biggest move I've ever made. To admit the fact that I can't do anything to make a girl change her mind. I have always been thinking that hope is the best thing to make things might happen. But I have realized that hope is killing me. I can't live when I am going around thinking about this girl maybe having feelings for me. She has been telling me a bunch of times that she doesn't want to have a boyfriend. A gentle no. But my goddamn pride has always been telling me not to give up. I can't lose this. This is... gentle is spelled with an A again. And he says, I can't lose this. But now, I swallowed my pride and admitted the fact that this is not going to happen. My biggest question is, how do I get over her without making her mad? Is there any other option except meeting her and telling her right into her face? What are you going to tell her? That you're that you're over her? Yeah, let's meet by the tree that we always meet under when we're sneaking out of our houses. And then that's where I'm going to break up with her. But it's not really breaking up with her because I'm just telling her that I'm over her. Girls don't care. Girls don't care that you're over her. The thing is that, I mean, if she didn't have any interest in you in the first place, romantically speaking, she's not going to care that you're over her. She's going to be relieved. That's kind of a thing with, guys, especially guys, your ages, is that there always has to be some kind of closure that we have to talk about. I'm finally getting over you and this and that. It's unnecessary. really. The biggest thing that you can do that's going to help you out in this regard, and that's, and the way that's not going to hurt her, because that's what you're concerned about, is you just move on and you just focus on what you're doing, your schoolwork, whatever passions you got, whatever side projects you got going on, and you just keep doing those. Yeah, there's some long ones in here, but I'm trying to stave them off for a little bit. Please help me. It started last year when I met her. A friend introduced me to her and some other people, and we became a very close group of friends. We hang out every weekend. I found her very attractive, and I still do. But I didn't wanted to make a move, because I was afraid that it would make me look like a creep. But after a few weeks, she started flirting with me. I didn't really pay attention to it, and kind of ignored it, 'cause she's the type of girl that would do that stuff as a joke. We had a connection that was closer than we had with the other friends. After a few months, she still flirts with me, but I stayed realistic and ignored it to protect myself from being hurt. And now we're half a year further, and I think I like her. I have feelings for her. So I looked back at all the flirting she did with me, and realized that she has/had feelings for me. Unfortunately, our connection is a little bit less than we used to have, so I don't know if she still likes me. If I decide by the signs that she gives at parties, she likes me. But if I decide by the signs she gives me at normal evenings, I'm not so sure about it. I also found out recently that she is talking and is texting, a lot I guess, with a friend/colleague of mine, which makes the whole situation even worse. It kind of is like a Ross and Rachel type of problem. I just don't know what to do. It drives me crazy. Is she playing hard to get, or is she just not interested anymore? One day I'm happy, and the other 6 days I'm depressed. TLDR, friend I have a crush on, had/still has a crush on me, found out about it. Don't now if it's too late. P.S. I'm sorry if my English is bad. It's not my mother language. Well, okay then. I'll save you from that beating. I was kind of mentioning this before. Girls have a window that you have to hit. And that window is the part where you feel like that you need to ask her out, but then didn't. The big thing is like, it didn't take you 6 months to realize that you had a crush on this girl, right? It took you about all of 2 hours. Okay, so over that week, or over the course of that month, depending on how much you see each other, that's really the window that you gotta fit into. That's the part where you gotta, okay, man up. You have this amount of time to man up, grab your balls, and ask her out. It's not gonna make you look like a creep. It's going to establish whether or not she likes you very early on in the relationship, so you're not, 6 months, 8 months down the line, and now it's kind of finding out that, she kind of had a thing for you too, and that's why she was flirting with you, right? She wouldn't be flirting with you if she didn't have a thing for you. Yeah, girls can, lead you on or whatever, but maybe, give her the benefit of the doubt and just go for it. If you think she's flirting with you a little bit and you have a thing for her, that's kind of that magical time. It's that feeling in your gut that's pulling you towards that idea of, I should ask her out. You should follow that and see where that goes. Yeah, it is a little scary because you might get rejected. But what it is going to do for you is if you had landed it, what you are now learning is that if you had landed it within that amount of time, asked her out when you first were getting to know each other, you're now finding out that she probably would have dated you for a while because you guys were attracted to each other. So, you don't know what to do. I mean, I'll say this. The feeling of regret that you were going to have for the longest time and that you are now experiencing is going to be a lot longer than the feeling of rejection that might happen when you ask someone out. What do you do now? I would say kind of move on. I don't really know what's going on with, her and your friend or whatever, but it might turn into a hairy situation. Who knows? Hey, you know what? Ask her out. What have you got to lose now? You have a thing for her. She used to have a thing for you. Maybe she still does. Who knows? Maybe you should ask her out just to figure out, what that answer is. And when and if that answer turns out to be, no, you kind of waited a long time, and now I'm kind of interested in your friend, then you'll be able to move on. By what method shall I proceed, Reddit? So, I met a girl about almost 2 years ago. We seemed to have similar interests, and we had a nice and long FB chat. Bad, I know. And then didn't talk afterwards. I wasn't too interested, TBH. Later that year, though, we started talking more and more and hung out a few times outside of school. We got pretty close, and this continued throughout the summer between the junior and senior years of high school. At first, I thought she was interested in a relationship with me, but I was told in various ways that our friendship was essentially platonic. Nevertheless, I clung onto the small hypothetical chance that maybe, one day, we might possibly end up together. Interesting word choice. Well, now it's almost the end of my senior year of high school, and all of a sudden she seems interested. She's been looking for excuses to touch me more often, seems more playful with me, and has been showing other indicators of attraction. My question is, what do I do? I really like this girl, but I flat out asked her if she likes me in the past, and the answer was negative. And I know that she knows I like her. Since she's already explicitly stated how she feels about me, should I allow her to make the first move into initiating a relationship? Assuming she does, of course. Or should I be a little more aggressive in my approach to what's going on? Infinite thanks are due to you, Reddit. Well, I'm not Reddit. But, she's not going to ask you out. I mean, she doesn't like you. She has already said that, right? She has said that she doesn't like you. She said that your friendship is essentially platonic, as you state. If you're gonna wait around for her to be making the first move into initiating this relationship, you are going to be waiting forever. Forever. You're gonna be waiting at least until she's 30. It's kind of, bad to say, but I mean, I'm being serious. You're going to be waiting a very long time. So, that would beget this question, which is, why is she still flirting with you? Why is she acting all touchy-feely and stuff like that? Well, because she can. Because, she gets to act like she has a boyfriend without having to deal with any of the boyfriend stuff. Should I be a little more aggressive in my approach to what's going on? I would say no. You've known this girl for 2 years. I'm going to go back to the beginning of your post. You guys are friends through and through. I mean, if there was a move to be made romantically, then it would have been made already. But now, it has been stated multiple times that she's not into you. She knows that you're into her. And still does this, touchy-feely stuff. Because she knows that she can. She knows she can get away with it. And she knows you're gonna, allow her to, make the first move eventually. Because you're gonna be waiting around and stuff like that. So, why wouldn't she be doing that? If it was anyone else, they would get confused and then, probably ask her out. But she knows that, you're not going to, so she can just keep doing it. Now what do you do? Are you going to college? Are you leaving town? What's going on? I would say, why not start focusing on other girls? If you are going away to college or whatever you may be doing, I mean, you're going to be leaving high school, so a lot of the people that you have seen on a very frequent basis, probably including this girl, it's going to change in the next couple of years. And I would say, why not bring some more people into your life from that life that you're about to live now? You know what I'm saying? You don't really have to be starting a high school relationship that should have started in high school, but now it's not. It's starting kind of outside of high school. Actually, it's not starting at all because you guys are just friends. Why is it that all of a sudden she seems interested now that you guys are kind of leaving high school and stuff like that? I don't really know. I wish I could answer that. I don't really know what's going on there. If all else fails, if I'm completely wrong, what I would say, which the only thing that turns me off about this is that you guys have known each other for 2 years and that kind of thing. The only thing that I would say is, ask her out. Make it definite, even though she's said it multiple times that she's not into you, blah, blah, blah. Try to solidify it. Don't ask her if you like her, this and that. But, and really, I don't even like condoning the idea of ask her out on a date and figure out if she likes you, this and that. Honestly, just try to kiss her. I mean, if the kiss happens, then maybe you can turn it into something awesome. Maybe, the 2 years of the friendship foundation can actually work in your favor because you guys have known each other so long and you know a lot of stuff about each other and this and that. Maybe the part that she's missing from you is the part that is actually, like you're kind of saying, not necessarily aggressive, but assertive. In that, you are going to make a definite move. You are going to try to plant that kiss on her. Now, if you go for the kiss and she kind of turns away, turns her head, and it's like, oh no, I'm not about this, that's a definite no. And then you should think about moving on after that. Yeah, I've been trying to put off these really long posts because oh god, this is just literally a block of text. This is why I've been putting it off, actually. This is why I haven't been doing any Friendzone posts, because I see this and I'm like, I don't want to know what's going on here. Who knows what kind of hellish demons are going to be unlocked in that Pandora's box of text. Friendzoned because of social anxiety? I've met this girl on the internet 3 weeks ago. She is extremely shy, but we talked for about a week and discovered we share the same interests, even sexual ones. Finally deciding to meet at the weekend. I knew she had social anxiety problems since the beginning, so I approached with care. The date went fine. We talked, much less than on the internet though, and kissed a lot. Interesting enough, she couldn't even look straight at my eyes. I also had to control the entire flow of conversation. Everything was fine till the second date. I went to her house and we were alone at her room. The problem is, I started to get annoyed by having to always initiate things with her. Talking, kissing, anything really. It came to a point where we spent about half an hour without talking or doing anything because I couldn't be sure if she wasn't really enjoying our time and somehow couldn't push me away, or maybe if she was just bored. So the date ended and I went home. Now, she says she is traumatized by the silent treatment and doesn't know if she wants to proceed with our relationship anymore. Right now, she isn't even able to see anyone or get out of her house. She also came to the conclusion that she doesn't like anyone and can't stand social interaction. She also treated me coldly on this third week. Still, when I was about to cut contact with her, she says she wants to keep in touch and doesn't want to lose me, question mark, question mark, question mark. And if this feeling pass, she's more than willing to try again. I made myself clear on that my intention is dating her and that I won't pretend to be her friend. Yet, I'm willing to wait for her to get better. My reaction may have been too harsh and should have been more understanding. I have anxiety problems of my own, totally unrelated with social anxiety, which I won't go into detail. So I empathize with her situation and genuinely want to help her get through this. However, something in the back of my mind tells me something is wrong. Could that one time really made her interest fade away, just like that? Or she's interested, but her negative feelings are stronger. Since this is an unusual situation, I kissed her and we actually got into a relationship, short-lived as it was, I don't know what to think. It's not like I pretended to be her friend and took too long to make a move. It was a mutual interest from the start, and we both got into a relationship. What do you guys think? Is she leading me on, and is this some kind of friend zone? Or maybe it's all genuine? You know, you're right. I'll give it to you. You actually got to the part where you were able to kiss her and got into a relationship for a couple days. But, you know, I really want to focus on the part, you know, your second date. And it's a thing where, you know, you guys, the second date is apparently at her home or something. And, it's just you guys kind of laying around, maybe talking a little bit, maybe kissing, and then, you know, who knows. But, you know, the rest of the time it's just kind of laying there and being quiet. And, you know, you gotta wonder if she's bored with that kind of thing. You know, that's really not exciting at all. The fact that you even wonder if she was bored, put that into context there. I mean, why is she bored when you're there? You're supposed to be providing the social interaction. You're supposed to be bringing the awesomeness. You know, taking her out on a date, doing something cool, seeing a movie, or whatever. Basically anything that doesn't pertain to just staying in the house and being bored. You know, I'm not even going to get into the part where you have anxiety problems that aren't related to your social anxiety, which aren't related to this, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, the questions are, could that one time really made her interest fade away, just like that? I mean, yeah. I don't really want to even delve into the part where, you know, she's like a girl that you met on the internet, and she might be also socially awkward, and who knows what site you guys met on or whatever. But just think about it this way, you know, girls want to be entertained, and really just, I think both parties want to be entertained. Like, when you see her, you know, you want things about her to be awesome so that she's not boring, right? So that you find her interesting, at least a little bit, you know, not just a pillow that you're kissing, right? And she probably expects the same of you, when that you come over, you kind of, you know, have some interesting things to talk about, or maybe you go out and do something interesting. Is she interested, but her negative feelings are stronger? What does that even mean? And, you know, I think she's interested. I think you might be the only person that, you know, has shown her romantic interest, so maybe, yeah, that's why she's interested. But, and then I kind of look at it and I think, you know what? She's super shy. She won't look at you in your eyes. This one might be a really tough nut to crack, you know. She might be one of those people that's just, you know, really introverted and really hard to get to, you know, emotionally. And that can be a headache to deal with. So do you want to be waiting around for her to be, you know, getting better? Are you guys still in a relationship? Is she still your girlfriend? What's going on there? You know, if not, then, you know, why not peruse the internet for some other awesome women? And if so, I mean, like I'm kind of saying, just maybe actually plan out a date. Maybe actually do something interesting and you know, give the both of you something to talk about while you're alone. Man, I'm giving really shitty advice today. It sucks. I gotta power through it. Be careful what you wish for. I'm writing this to you all because I feel like it maybe will give me some sort of catharsis, but I know deep down nothing is going to ease the way I feel other than time. Long, dark time filled with regret, and I hope someday I come out the other side feeling at least a semblance of the normality I used to. I'll start from the beginning. C and I met several years ago. At first I thought she was a little condescending, and I didn't want to give her the time of day. I brushed her off as another random person who I could care less if they were a part of my life. Several weeks later, I ran into her at a bar. We had a lot of mutual friends, and I went to meet up with one of them, and she happened to be there. We remembered one another from our brief interaction prior, and I was in good enough a mood to be cordial. By the end of the evening, we all ended up back at her apartment drinking beers, talking shit, and having an excellent time. One by one, our friends decided to head home or pass out, and eventually we found ourselves so distracted by our surprising congeniality to notice the time. After that night, we started talking and spending time together regularly. We both came to realize how easy this friendship was. We felt no obligation to put our best foot forward, to pretend to be someone we thought we should be. It was comfortable, it was refreshing, and in the smallest amount of retrospect, it was perfect. After not too long, and to follow through with my pre-existing plans, I moved out of state to pursue a new life. Surprisingly, that didn't stop our friendship from blooming into an even more beautiful identity. She came out and visited me every few months, and subsequently developed a lot of close friendships with my friends. She had told me that she wasn't surprised to get so close with my friends, as anybody who someone like me was close with would quite obviously be easy to get along with. We were always there for one another, but more importantly, we knew how to back off when we wanted to be alone, and we never resented one another for that. We didn't have expectations of each other. As time went on and our friendship continued to grow, we continued to confide and trust in one another with every honest feeling we had. We found ourselves enjoying the most perfect, enriching friendship either of us could have asked for. It was sacred, and we both should have realized that it was too sacred to risk, but we didn't. Eventually, we had the conversation which was partly brought upon by the insistence of our friends and family. Why aren't you guys together? Both of us had these thoughts prior, but neither of us dared to acknowledge them. Our fears, our feelings, our pasts. I just wish in that moment I had the clarity of mind to realize that what we had then was too important, too sacred to risk, and move on from there, keeping what we had. I would guess she probably does too. We dated for about 8 months. Everything was beautiful in the beginning. Slowly, insecurities and projections crept in, and we both started to develop expectations, an inevitability, a part of the nature of any relationship, and everything just became complicated. We started to misunderstand each other, we started to argue, and eventually we began to get exhausted of each other emotionally. Overall, though, I think the fear
Fuck. At this point, is it me or is it this guy? It's not formatted correctly. He's using way too many, dare I say, large words to be talking about this friend zone relationship. Really? Your surprising congeniality? Subsequently developed a lot of friendships? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Overall, though, I think the fear become too great for both of us. The fear of losing each other. The fear of not being good enough for each other. The fear of everything becoming like everything before. That it would no longer be the special, unique relationship it once was. Eventually, we broke up, and we haven't talked as much since. Once in a while, we will small talk every few weeks or so, but it's nowhere near what it used to be, and I can't shake the feeling that it never will be. If I could go back in time, I would have kept what we had, our friendship. I don't know if we will ever have that deep of a friendship again. And that's going to take a long time for me to get over. So be careful. If you have something special, make sure you want to deal with the consequences of risking it before you act on it. That was vague as all hell. So why did you guys break up? Because of the insecurities and the projections and the expectations. Kind of sounds like what happened was both of them got jealous over the other one because apparently they were both insecure and they didn't know if, they deserved to be with each other. That's weird. That's a whole mind fuck right there. First off, I'm wondering if it happened to the both of them. I'm wondering if it didn't just happen to the dude. If he didn't just get super insecure and didn't believe that he was worthy of his girlfriend, therefore, got super jealous, well, as he says, exhausted her emotionally, and then, just kind of drove her away. I don't know. But like I was saying, that's a whole nother mindfuck where, you get into a relationship with a person and then the both of you believe that you don't deserve to be in a relationship with that person because why? Aren't you guys already in a relationship? Why would you then think that you weren't deserving of the other person? You're both already in the relationship. That part is solidified. It's the part where, you think that, she's so attractive and she's so awesome and, she has all these guys talking to her and this and that, is the part where you start questioning yourself. You start, second guessing your own integrity and, maybe I don't deserve to be with someone as awesome as the person that I'm already with. I don't know. That was just, maybe it's just late. Maybe it's the way that was written, but I don't know. I don't know what was up with these posts today. This wasn't your average. Excuse me. This wasn't your average stories from the friend zone. This has got to be some, full moon shit that's happening. I don't know. Maybe I just gave shitty advice today. Like, none of it was funny. I don't know. It didn't provoke me, really. It didn't really get my fire going. That post in Askreddit, I mean, that's something else. That was posted by a guy. I fucking guarantee it. If there was one theme with the post that was going on today, it's, guys, why are you waiting around? Why are you waiting around to make the move? It's exhausting. I mean, it's got to be exhausting for you. It's exhausting for me just reading about it. Just seeing you guys having feelings for someone and just like bottling it up and like not saying anything about it until it's way too late, like 6 months, a year, 2 years in this case down the line, and still saying things like, I clung on to the hypothetical chance that maybe, I'm waiting for her to initiate the relationship. Don't fucking wait around. That shit gets tiring. Doesn't it? Having someone that is, kind of flirty with you, likes to talk to you and likes to have conversation, likes to go out, this and that, and then every time you bring it up, they're like, no, we're just friends, it's not going to be a relationship. Don't you guys get tired of that? Why do you guys still hang around that kind of shit? Why do I even have to be up here telling you to basically shit or get off the pot? Why is it that basically all of these stories sound the same, yet they all end with the question, well, what do I do now? Well, first off, you should have done the thing that you should have done 6 months ago. Okay, but since you can't do that then, you might as well do it now. And the other option is forget about it. Move on. Find another girl. The magic is that if you do move on, two things are gonna happen. First off, you're gonna find someone that is actually into you. Right. You're gonna move on from this one girl that friendzoned you, and you're gonna find someone else that is awesome, that likes to be around you. You're gonna ask her after, having listened to Ty 37's stories in the friend zone. You're gonna finally find this girl, and you're gonna ask her out within the month that you meet her, right? And you're gonna be talking about stuff that you're interested in, that makes you interesting, and then you're gonna go, on dates with that girl, and you're gonna build a relationship with that person. Or what's gonna happen is that you're gonna move on from this person that friendzoned you, and you're gonna be looking around for other girls and kind of gaining traction in that area, and the girl that friendzoned you is going to come crawling back to you. Basically coming up to you and being like, wait, why aren't you giving me more attention? Why did you just basically drop me on my ass? So the very thing that you wanted will eventually happen. The part where, she's starting to give you more attention and, starting to try to hang out with you and be more flirty with you. That will eventually happen if you try to legitimately move on. If you continue trying to, cling on to this hope and, wait around for her to make the first move and blah, 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 it's never going to come. It's not coming regardless. But first off, looking at it that way, it's not fucking happening. And second off, if you actually make an attempt to move on and find someone else, they'll come rubber banding back to you. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing because you'll want to get over her. Obviously, you'll want to be moving on. But that's what's gonna fucking happen. And you know what? If she doesn't, then she wasn't your friend. If you move on from her, if you drop her, and she's like, oh, okay, and she, doesn't message you back, she doesn't try to initiate anything anymore, she basically, you have cut contact with her, and she is basically in agreement and accordance with that cut contact. Now, don't go up to her and tell her that you're cutting contact with her, as I was saying before, but then she wasn't your friend. Then she's just no one. Then she was just some girl that was using you for whatever, for, a shoulder to cry on or maybe an extra movie or something. I still can't believe that fucking question about how can you girls make it easier for you girls to ask us guys out so we don't have to. That shit blows my mind. Don't do that, guys. You don't want to be searching for a solution in that regard. You gotta be making that shit happen. I don't know. My head is so clouded right now. Maybe it's late. Maybe I've been working too much. Maybe it's the full moon. Maybe I'm stoned. Especially that dude that thought he was being ostracized for being a male. Especially that shit. The kind of dude that's saying, there are no beauty standards for men. And that we have no idea what women are attracted to. Wow, that's wrong. You don't know what women are attracted to. And it's because, you've heard things like, male butts are attractive. And that maybe girls like squats. But you don't know. You would know if she went up to you and told you. Yeah, by the way, it's confirmed. OP on that post is a male. Yeah. Yeah, why isn't this question labeled, hey, guys who make the first move, what advice could you give to those who don't so that it isn't so intimidating? Let's ask that question. I'll make my own stories from the friend zone question because all your other questions are fucking shit. We'll just flip it. Guys who make the first move, what advice could you give to those who don't, so that it isn't so intimidating? Well, I would say this. Here's what my advice would be. You know, you're 15, you're 18, you know, the crush that you have in high school, or what kind of little relationships that you have in high school, they're not going to mean much. They're not really going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's going to teach you about, you know, more stuff about how to deal with social interactions and how to deal with having a girlfriend and stuff like that. But you would be way better off to be asking out every girl that you found attractive, every girl that you wanted to date, rather than not. Because it helps you deal with that rejection. It helps you deal with that rejection that you're going to be facing later in life. And you're just dealing with it early. You know what happens to people who ask girls out and they get rejected? You know, they get sad a little bit, and that sucks. You know, she didn't like me. But you know what happens? They move on. In a week, a couple weeks, you know, they move on, maybe find a new girl. Do you know why? Because it's already made very clear to them that the girl that they were interested in isn't interested in them. So they don't have to waste time on it anymore. They can start focusing on another girl that they're attracted to. If you are waiting for 6 months, a year, to be making this quote-unquote first move, that hurt is going to stick with you. That is going to stick with you way longer than any form of rejection. Because there's all this, you know, friendship building and feeling sharing, and we did all this stuff together and blah, blah, blah. And it's gonna hurt way more because you're just building up. In the meantime, you're building up all that hope and putting this girl on a pedestal and wanting the ensuing relationship to be so awesome. And that is going to be way more crushing because your expectations are way higher. That's the other thing, is that when you first meet a person and, you know, maybe get to know them over the first couple of weeks or whatever, it's like there's very low expectations there. You know, interestingly enough, there was a couple posts that I just read that both of them started out that way. Oh, I met this girl and I wasn't really that into her, blah, blah, blah. But then we happened to spend a shitload of time with each other, and that's how I figured out that I was attracted to her. How interesting is it that those posts started out with, oh, you know, I wasn't really interested in her. There's no expectations. There's no, maybe you ask her out and you could end up in an awesome relationship, or you could get rejected. And at that point in time, it doesn't really matter to you because, you know, she's just some girl that, you know, might be attractive, might not. And, you know, who knows why she's talking to me. Might as well figure it out. I don't know. I still think the advice that I've been given today is shit. So, you know what? That's going to be doing it for this edition of Stories from the Friend Zone. Thank you for listening. I hope it helped. And I'll see you later.